south to Lisbon.
And our first morning here in Lisbon, we got up and we have already ridden the electric tram cars.
Tram 28E is a lot of fun rolling up and down the crowded city streets.
And now we are at the Castelo de Sao Jorge, where we're going to tour the castle and then walk our way back down into the commercial square and see the rest of the city.
The castle was a lot bigger than we expected and was a blast to explore. The views of Lisbon from the walls were stunning. From there, we walked our way down the hill and climbed up the Arco da Rua Augusta, overlooking Commercial Square. By then, we were getting hungry, so we headed over to the Time Out Market, a curated sampling of some of the best restaurants in Lisbon. At that point in the afternoon, tram lines were getting long, so we hopped on a tuk-tuk to ride west to the Belem district. We stopped at Belem Tower, climbed the monument to the discoveries, and then toured Jeronimos Monastery, a beautiful monastery funded by Portugal's colonial era. After a long day of walking, we hopped a tram back to our rental in Bairro Alto. After taking a quick rest, we found enough energy to head out for some Portuguese Asian fusion cuisine at Boa Bao. Delicious way to end the day.
This morning we woke up bright and early to head west to the town of Sintra. We were early enough to get a parking spot, but not quite early enough to beat the crowds at the Penha Palace. It was a beautiful palace and was the old residence of the kings of Portugal until their exile to England in the early 1900s. Beautiful castle, lots to see, really cool decorations, and interesting to see the daily life. And now we have made our way over to the Moorish castle, and we are walking the trail up to the castle now. The Moorish castle walls were a lot of fun to climb along, and we wandered our way through the park for a little while, and now we're heading back to the car for a drive into Sintra for some lunch.
Then we walked from there to the Quinta da Regalera to explore the gardens. By afternoon, the gardens were packed, but were well worth a visit, and the inverted tower was really cool to walk down and into the caves below. From there, we drove over to Cabo da Roca to see the westernmost point in continental Europe. We walked along the cliffs a bit before heading south to Boca del Inferno, though there wasn't much of an inferno at low tide. We ended the day stopping for a sunset dinner along the coast on our way back to Lisbon.
This morning we slept in a little bit, and then we headed over to Evora to spend the day.
Driving across the 25th of April bridge and into the Alentejo region.
We got here around lunchtime, so it was a good time to stop at Fialho for a delicious lunch. Probably the best meal that we've had so far in Portugal, and that's saying a lot. Now we are up on top of the Evora Cathedral, and we plan on spending the afternoon exploring the rest of the town.
From the cathedral, we walked over to the Roman temple for an espresso and ice cream break. Then we headed to the Chapel of the Bones, where the cathedral walls were decorated with the remains of the victims of the bubonic plague, after the graveyards in town had filled up during those dark days. From there, it was time to make our way back, driving through the cork tree groves and vineyards of Alentejo and back across the bridge into the city of Lisbon. Because we were already on that side of town, we decided to get dinner at the LX Factory, a converted warehouse region with shops and restaurants under the bridge. Today was our last full day in Lisbon, so we decided to do a little shopping and see as much of the downtown region as we could. We started with another ride on the electronic tram over to Pink Street, where we started our walk around the main Baixa district. We looked around in the touristy shops before heading to the Santa Justa lift and taking a ride up the elevator Gloria. We ate a delicious lunch in a converted monastery where we tried barnacles. They taste kind of like salty, delicious little oysters. We stopped to tour the Carmel Convent, the preserved ruins of a church ruined by the earthquake of 1755. Then we rode the elevator back to the Baixa to get some gelato at Gelato Santini. Since our legs were pretty tired by then, we took a ride down the Bica elevator to the riverfront and decided to hop on a tuk-tuk tour to see a few more views and sights of Lisbon. The tour dropped us off at the Time Out Market for one last dinner in Lisbon.
We left Lisbon in our rear view mirror this morning, and we have driven north to the town of Tomar, where we're going to visit the Convento de Cristo and the old headquarters of the Knights Templar.
It was fascinating to see the chapel built for knights to ride their horses in for a blessing, along with the crypts and the convent of the order. After a morning walking around, it was time to head back north to Porto and then on home.